Hello there, everyone. This is Quiversee, and welcome back to the Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke. Last time, we beat Volkner at the Sunny Source City Gym, and today, we need to find ourselves the HM for Waterfall. But first, as you can see, I got some unfinished business over on Route 222. Bunch of trainers that were skipped over, and I wanted to make sure that we went after them. As a reminder, this, unfortunately, is more post-commentary because my audio files got corrupted, so, yeah. Look at my Pokemon, it's really cool! Oh, we'll ride upon the sea in a boat, just you and me. That's the way of the sailor, the way of the sailor. Sing it! I really did not gather that it was a song when I did this before, but this time I knew. Also, Remoraid and Mantike, not exactly a threatening pair. Especially not for my current team. Brava and Sympath might technically be a little out-leveled, but Remoraid and Mantike are very clearly outclassed, as you will soon observe. I sent Brava after the Mantike since it's part flying type, and decided to use Sympath's Leaf Blade over on the Remoraid. And right now, I don't think I mentioned this before, I gave Brava Return, and she currently has maximum friendship. The friendship checker is showing 2 gigantic hearts. So that means Return is hitting stupidly hard. It's hitting harder than like Rock Climb would. And since Brava is part normal type, well, that just helps even further. Honestly, I think that if it was hitting a Pokemon that's not weak to ground, it's just like neutral to ground, it would hit about as hard as an Earthquake from Onyxia. That's the kind of power we're talking is behind that attack. And Brava has a decent attack stat too. Who's there? What do you think you're doing? Another fun fact, by the way, that I discovered while I was out during the training, you don't have the ability to fight officers during the day. They will only battle you at night. And this also applies to using the Versus Seeker. However, I did also experience something that I think might be a glitch that unfortunately I didn't have the footage on this. But so while I was training, I had to do it during a couple of different chunks. And at one point, I saved during the night, and I reloaded during the day. And I stayed in the same general area, where there was that one officer patrolling near the 2 rich people I was training on. And of course, you know, when I was during the night, sometimes I would get the officer in the Versus Seeker as well, so it's like, might as well fight him. He wasn't worth nearly as much XP or money, obviously. But when I went back during the day, even though it was sunny out, the game thought it was night and treated it as such. So I was able to fight him during the day, and that stayed that way until I left the area and came back. So I think that when it comes to like time-sensitive stuff like that, the game doesn't change it until you leave the area, and that includes turning the game off and back on again. I don't know if that applies to everything or just to the police trainers, but it was an interesting little quirk nonetheless. Also, yeah, all the cops just have a Machoke line and an Owl line, and that's it. The only items you ever throw are Pokeballs. But is that true? I want people to think about that. That's why I gave away this Techno Machine, Fling. Ah, yes, Fling. Fling is a pretty cool move. It's a Dark-type move whose effect changes depending on your Pokemon's hold item. You use the move, it flings the item, does a certain amount of damage depending on the item, has a special effect depending on the item. Some don't have any effects, some just do damage. And it will then have the item no longer be used on your Pokemon. Like, basically, you no longer are holding that item for all intents and purposes. And it's pretty fascinating because there are some items that are really good for it. A good example being the King's Rock, which, if you recall, has a chance to flinch on all of your attacks. If you fling it, it's a guaranteed flinch, like Fake Out. And there are some items that are actually detrimental for your Pokemon to hold, but are really good when used with Fling. A good example of this is the Iron Ball. I don't think we actually have found this item, but it's an item that basically drops your Pokemon's speed, more so I think than the Full Incense does. But it gives Fling a power of like over 100. So you can actually make some cool use out of items that are normally bad for you. There's even some that would like poison or burn your Pokemon, but you apply them to the Fling effect. It's actually pretty cool. I also think that if you were to throw something like, say, a healing berry, it would allow you to heal whatever you use Fling on. So if you wanted to be doing something really silly / creative, I guess, you could, say, have one Pokemon have Fling holding a citrus berry, throw it on a teammate in a double battle to heal them, while also dealing a minuscule amount of damage. The point is, it's a very versatile move, and I like it a lot. And if you'll recall, we've also seen the move Recycle as a TM. I forget if I picked it up in this run or not, but Recycle is basically a move that I only ever use alongside Fling, because like I said, when you use Fling, you get rid of your hold item. Recycle returns your hold item. So you can fling something really strong, and then recycle it to be able to fling it again in that same fight. Basically, you can do some really creative strategies with that. I had a Pokemon that I trained once that used that combination with an Iron Ball, and it was already a slow Pokemon, so it didn't really matter much, and it was so much fun. It wasn't the strongest thing out there, but it was a whole heck of a lot of fun. And, you know, if you've raised up some Pokemon and you've never tried that kind of combination before, I'd recommend it. Anyways, with that whole bit out of the way, still a few more trainers to deal with here on this route, including these fishermen. Well, I am fishing, but very well, I accept your challenge. Still a little frustrated with these fishermen because of the Gyarados killing off more of my teammates, but, you know, I don't know. The Gyarados have been particularly dangerous. And I think just in the context of the Nuzlocke challenge, I've underestimated them, because Gyarados have always been a threat. You know, they're always strong. I just don't really, I don't know. For some reason, they kind of would dip under my radar, and that was up until Cyrus's Gyarados swept my team. What I'm trying to say is this Nuzlocke has given me a newfound fear / respect for Gyarados as a Pokemon. Anyways, what we are seeing here is not Gyarados, but Finneon following a Magikarp, Magikarp being, of course, being that which evolves into Gyarados. Why does this dude have a level 42 Magikarp? Because I don't know why. Like, seriously, why a Magikarp? Feebas, on the other hand, at least that one's a little bit more unique. Feebas is basically the exact same Pokemon as Magikarp, except it's 10 times more rare, and it evolves differently and into a very different Pokemon. But, like, Feebas itself is just as effective as Magikarp. And I think this trainer is the last one. If I stare at the water surface too long, I begin to forget what I was doing in the first place. With 3 Pokemon, and he starts with the dose. But as we're gonna see right here, I've got good answers for the dose now. That good answer, of course, is not Brava. Just go straight for the U-turn. It may not do much, but if I wanted to switch out anyway, I might as well get some chip damage in. No. The real answer for Gyarados, I guess I'm mulling. Oh, right, because the thing that scares me is that these Gyarados I know Hydro Pump, and that's dangerous for Onyxia, who I was considering sending out until I remembered Onyxia no longer has Thunder Fang. But Lumen is super fast and super strong. I'm just concerned about his survivability. And then there's Spitfire, who is way tankier. So yeah, ultimately I decided to send in Spitfire instead of risking Lumen. If I had sent out Lumen, I think he would have been fine, because Ice Fang wouldn't have done too much. But, you know, better safe than sorry. At least when it comes to Spitfire, I know that he can tank whatever this Gyarados can dish out. Like, the scariest thing I could see this Gyarados knowing would be Thunder Fang, and I don't even know if they can learn Thunder Fang. But considering he's content to just sit there and spam Hydro Pumps, I think it's safe to say he didn't have a good answer for Spitfire. And this is another reason I'm glad I was able to teach Spitfire Sludge Bomb. Poison is a pretty good offensive type. It does not function at all against Steel types, and it's resisted by Poison, Ground, And I think that's it. The point is, it can damage a lot of different types. It's not super effective against a lot, at least not yet. But it's a really powerful type to attack with. So I'm glad that I taught it to Spitfire. Technically, it would have been stronger on Spook since he would get same type attack bonus, but Spook doesn't need it. And giving that to Spitfire makes so much versatility. Like, I had nothing else good for that Gyarados in that situation. Either way, that's it for this trainer, and that is, in turn, it for Route 222. Oh wait, no, he still has another Gyarados. I'm blind. I am completely blind. I actually forgot he had a second Gyarados. So yeah, this one gets the Jolteon treatment. If you thought that Spitfire was good for this thing, just you wait till you see what Lumen does to it. One Thunderbolt. Obviously outspeeding it. And we got ourselves a dead dose. Truth be told, I probably should have been raising a Jolteon from the get-go as my quote-unquote Gyarados killer, as opposed to Onyxia because of the weakness to water and ground, which I knew Cyrus's Gyarados had. But I think that I ended up very much in the benefit. I ended up better off for it because I have Onyxia now, and she's just such an iron wall. Anyways, welcome to the Pikachu house. A little bit disturbing. I'm going for the Pokemon Championship with only Pikachu. And yet, I'll go over him in just a moment, but I completely glossed over this in the video, but that house there with the Remoraid guy, the guy who wanted the big Remoraid, yeah, the only prize I got for that was a netball. Wasn't that great? But the dude at the Pikachu house reminded me of something I did when I was a kid. So, when Pokemon Generation 3 came out, I ended up getting both Ruby and Sapphire. I played through Ruby normally, and then when I went to play through Sapphire, I wanted to try something a little silly. So I got up to, I forget the name of it, but it's the island where the cave is, and I caught Sableye. Sableye is my personal favorite Pokemon of all time, even to this day. And I basically did what that guy did, and played the entire game from that moment forward with nothing but 6 Sableye in my team. It was stupid, but it was fun, and it worked. It helps because by this point, Sableye had no actual weaknesses, so that made things a little easier, and that was one of the things that drew me to Sableye. But even now, where he does technically still have a weakness, he's still my favorite Pokemon. Just from design and everything. Anyway, at this point, I'm actually checking for an HM slave, and as you can see, it takes me a little bit of figuring out, but after checking a few people, I find out no one really can learn all of the moves I want to teach. So I decide to bring on Doofter, because I'm fairly certain that once he evolves, he'll be able to learn Waterfall and Strength, and hopefully everything else that I need him to learn. Right now, I'm just in the process of teaching him Rock Smash and Cut, but, you know, most of my team doesn't have access to all the HMs I need without completely ruining their builds, so yeah, Doofter is just a straight-up HM slave at this point. I'm only teaching him Cut because there's that one item on Route 222 that I need to get. But I know that in the areas ahead, I'm gonna need Waterfall, I'm gonna need Strength, I'm gonna need Rock Smash. All of that is necessary, and I'm probably gonna need Rock Climb too. At this point, I'm not entirely sure if he's gonna be able to learn that one, but you know, I'll worry about that later. And yeah, he's getting the XP share because I need him to evolve before he can learn Waterfall. Since Bidoof evolves into a part water type, that's what led me to this conclusion. I originally was hoping that I could teach it to Disorder, but he couldn't learn Rock Climb, which is, you know, kind of important. So, you know, I'm having to bank on Bibarel being able to learn it. Anyway, as for the item down here, we cut down the tree. And it's a Carbos. Not a bad little bonus find, even though I could, you know, I've literally been buying those by the dozens. I don't know. Now that I've basically found the source of infinite money, it's not exactly exciting to find any item that I can purchase. Still appreciated, though. This is a major port town, and it's the gateway to the Pokemon League. The city uses a lot of electricity, especially the lighthouse and the gym. They finally decided to turn all the city's roads into giant solar panels. Sunny Shore is a sunshine city, so it works perfectly. Yeah, at this point, I'm trying to find the Waterfall HM, and that lady there just... Look, I'm no solar panel expert. I don't think it's a good idea to make roads solar panels. It doesn't seem like it would be efficient or functional or smart. It feel like it would just damage everything. It would mean that the solar panels wouldn't work right. Like, again, I am no expert on it. I'm not going to pretend to be, but I know that solar panels need to be made out of specific materials and stuff like that. It just doesn't seem right. Anyways, welcome to the underground house, where everyone here just talks about stuff relating to the underground, which is not exactly the most relevant thing, unfortunately. Like, I kid you not, I've only been underground once in this run since, you know, doing the mandatory underground man stuff. And that was explicitly to find some heart scales. Like, that's literally the only reason I would go down there, is look for heart scales, shards, or fossils. I have not found a fossil this run yet, by the way. Like, I could still try and get my hands on a fossil. I haven't found one. Anyways, welcome to the Sunny Shore Market, where we find ourselves the Effort Lady. So, I've mentioned before about how Pokemon have base stats that they gain as they battle and use, like, the vitamins and stuff, and they can only learn so many base stats. If they are at maximum base stats, this lady will let you know, as we will see right here with Sympath. It works stupendously hard, didn't it? Yep, when she says that, she'll give you an effort ribbon, which means that the base stats of that Pokemon are at their maximum. Granted, you can still manipulate them a bit with those berries that reduce base stats, but for the time being, the Pokemon is basically fully trained, and that's what the purpose of that lady is. And over here, we finally have access to more Pokeball seals. Like I mentioned when we first got this, the Pokeball seals, I love the Pokeball seal mechanic. I just hadn't been using it because we only had the couple of basic ones you start with. This is the place you go to get more. I'm pretty sure that they rotate out every day based on what the guy in the center of this room said. But yeah, I got lots of money. Why not spend it on some seals, right? And yes, I'm going to be setting some Pokeball seals as well. Truth be told, I need to make sure that I make a note to come back there every day just to buy some more. At least while this is going on. Anyways, with that done, whatever the environment, people and Pokemon adapt to live there. That's what we all do to survive. Random sailor, but more importantly, random gym leader from Johto. Hey Quiver, what the? You went and got all 8 gym badges of Sinnoh? Nah, that's wicked, I envy you. But don't think you've won, because I'm gonna be the toughest trainer ever. You watch me. Before I was dreaming, I just wanted to be like my dad. Now things are different. I've thought about what being a trainer involves. I thought about what Pokemon are. We're gonna get tougher one step at a time. I'm not gonna challenge you to a battle now. I hate to say it, but I know you're tougher than me. Not a whole lot tougher, just a little. Our difference is about a yard? Nah, not even an inch. What am I trying to say is that I'll catch up to you in no time. If you don't hurry the Pokemon League, I'll leave you in my wake. I completely forgot that squirrel showed up. Was that your friend? Yeah, Jasmine is a gym leader from the Johto region. Seeing how you two got along made me happy somehow. It must be wonderful having a friend like that. A person that you can share anything and everything with. A person you can compete with without fighting. It made me feel sort of warm seeing you two. It may seem odd, but I'd like you to have this as my thanks. This isn't much, but... It isn't much, she says. That hidden machine. It contains Waterfall. If you use it, you can get to the Pokemon League. I don't know how I should say this, but good luck. Yep! She was just there to give us the Waterfall HM. I still do not know why she is in Sunny Shore, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's a cool cameo, I guess you could say, but Still seems a little weird. Either way, with the Waterfall HM, we now have access to Route 223 and a new Pokemon. It's Mantike! It's a little flying manta ray. I like Mantike a lot, but I've never actually raised one. Like, if I had gotten one early on, I probably would have raised one just because of that fact. Either way, it is a little baby Pokemon at this point, so very easy to catch in a quick ball. And Mantike's data is added to the Pokedex. Mantike, the kite Pokemon. People organized, I completely read off what Miss Wit said. Something about Remoraid, because Remoraid attached themselves to Mantike and Mantine. Anyway, I stayed here for like 5 minutes trying to figure out a name, and for some reason, I landed on the name Hylia? I don't know why. I don't dislike it even right now, you know, in hindsight, but it's just like, I don't know why that's what came to me in the moment, but it did. Anyways, now I'm heading back because I realized I forgot to set those Pokeball seals, so we'll catch up after that. But that's going to have to be next time. Unfortunately, this recording session did go a little bit long, so I'm going to have to be splitting this into 2. So with that, thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.